Hi, I'm Mariano Vilches, and I choose the second proposal for the Sustainable Solutions by the ONU. That means that I'm going to talk about the zero hunger and how can we reduce the waste of food in Mexico and all around the world. Uh, First of all, do you know how many people we can feed using the food that we waste in Mexico? Or do you know what is the hunger? Well, according to Oxfam, hunger is the worst possible food insecurity, both in terms of severity and the impact it has. Hunger is something that affects many communities all around the world, and only in Mexico is calculated that we waste around 38 tons of food, and of that waste, 35% come from the restaurants of Mexico. And maybe you're thinking that that's not too much, but with that waste we can feed around 25.5 million of Mexicans. Now, every year, the countries of Mexico, France, and Canada hold gastronomy schools with a massive production of food, and then deliver the food to families in vulnerable conditions. But at the same time, they raise awareness to avoid waste and promote a healthy eating. And maybe you're thinking, well, how can we reduce the waste of food, or how can we help? Well, for fighting the hunger, the ONU comes with a selection of possible solutions to the objective of zero hunger, such as ensuring that by 2030, all people, with priority given to the persons that are in the most vulnerable situations, have access to a healthy, nutritious, and enough food during all year. Or maintain the genetic diversity of seed, cultivate plants, farm animals, and domestic animals through good management of diversification of seed and banks at national, regional, and international level, in rural infrastructure, agricultural research and extension of services, development, among others. Speaking on a bigger scale, around the world there are 795 million people living in food poverty, and it is estimated that by 2030 the figure will be 840 million, and by 2050 the figure will increase to 2,000 million people living in food poverty. So it is vital to take measures to help reduce this global figure. A world with zero hunger can contribute positively to the entire planet by helping to improve health, economic problems between countries, as well as food education and prevent diseases generated by chronic hunger. Here are some tips that you know when hunger occurs when large numbers of people die due to lack of food or when food shortage combined with diseases. When more of 20% of households are unable to feed themselves, acute malnutrition exceeds 30%, and people are clearly starving. We should no longer speak of humanitarian emergency, but of a hunger. According to the studies by the Hunger Project Mexico, together with the Coneval, currently in Mexico there are 23.3% of the population lives in food poverty, and there are 881,752 children with chronic malnutrition. According to the 2018 National Healthy Survey, 55% of households in Mexico were classified in one of the three categories of food insecurity, and 69% of households in rural status were classified in some level of food insecurity. Globally, it is estimated that 60% of people living in food poverty are women. 50% of hungry families are farming families, and 76% of people living in food poverty are in rural areas and depend on agriculture for their economy and food. The ONU state that one thing we can do to support the comfort of our homes is to use our power as consumers and voters, demanding the business and governments make decisions and change that make it possible to achieve zero hunger.